Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm very delighted to see you all again, but some are new face. Okay. You are all looking very well. I hope you can continue the the status. Okay. Last year, the topic of Dharma talks was the Madhyamaka teachings. This year, I will focus on the law of dependent co-arising, as you can see on the screen. It's different from the Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation, but it's the same, and it's sort of to reflect the Sanskrit or Pali term more precisely. Okay. And I will talk about focus on the law of dependent co-arising and its related teachings. This is a principle of central importance in the Buddha's teachings, and it provides one way to realize emptiness. This lecture series will cover the following main topics. Section 1, Law of Dependent Co-arising, Fundamental Principle of the Buddha Dharma. Section 2, Three Levels of Causes and Conditions. Section 3, Definition and Content of Law of Dependent Co-arising. Section 4, Cyclical process and its cessation found in the law of dependent co-arising. Section 5, the three Dharma seals. Section 6, three Dharma seals and one Dharma seal. Looks very difficult, right? But I hope after my explanation, you can sort of realize what the Buddha taught about the law of dependent co-arising. Okay. Now, let's begin exploring the law of dependent co-arising. The Buddha Dharma places sentient beings as its basis. The teachings focus on investigating the self and others, mind and environment, that is, mental activities and material forms, and subject and object, etc. Although there are many teachings in the Buddha Dharma, there is one distinctive feature, and that is the teaching of dependent co-arising. As the Samyutta Agama Sutra number 53 says, I speak of causes and explore the origins of all phenomena. Through causes and conditions, the world arises. Through causes and conditions, the world is formed. Through causes and conditions, the world ceases to be. Through causes and conditions, the world dissolves. Very poetic, right? But very profound. The Buddha did not provide a definition that strictly distinguishes cause from condition. Nevertheless, the two can be understood in terms of their relative differences and their general meaning. As for relative differences aspect, cause refers to the specific or primary factor and relates to the principal element, while condition refers to the functional supporting factors and relates to the general contributing elements. As for the general aspect, for any phenomenon to arise, certain conditions must be present. Whatever can serve as the condition for the arising of a phenomenon is called its causes and conditions. Furthermore, this applies not only to the arising of a phenomenon. When a phenomenon ceases to exist, its passing is also dependent on causes and condition, and requires various distinctive conditions. Therefore, cessation is equally subject to causes and conditions, right? The Buddha Dharma's teaching on the Four Noble Truths, especially the truth of the cause of suffering, its arising and cessation both depend on causes and conditions. The Four Noble Truths can explain what the world is, why it comes into being, how it can cease, and how, by understanding these causes and conditions of arising and ceasing, people are guided in their practice to reach the goal. With respect to our human life, we presently experience suffering and difficulties. We must seek causes of this suffering. Once the causes of suffering are understood, we know that if these causes are absent, suffering will cease. But this requires finding the proper method to remedy the suffering. The teachings on the Four Noble Truths can also be understood using the analogy of seeking medical treatment for an illness. The first and second Noble Truths are like observing the symptoms and then determining the disease and its causes. The third and the fourth Noble Truths are like a doctor prescribing the medicine that remedies the disease and its causes, and the patient taking that medicine and thereby recovering from illness. Therefore, for those who study and practice Buddhism, it is first necessary to investigate causes and conditions. By understanding the conditions for the arising and cessation of worldly suffering, we can resolve it in a rational way, allowing what should arise to arise and what should cease to cease. In the past, when the Buddha first turned the Dharma wheel, he taught the Four Noble Truths, which are precisely an explanation of the causal relations of defilement and purification. This chart summarizes the preceding explanation and maps the connections among the law of dependent co-arising, the Four Noble Truths, and the analogy of seeking treatment for an illness. So you can see suffering, like illness, right? We just mentioned cause of suffering like the cause of illness, cessation of the cause like the illness being cured, the way to cessation like the medicine. Okay. Dependent co-arising explains both the arising and cessation of things in this world. Whether we realize it or not, in our daily lives, we often investigate causes and conditions, and even the development of human culture originally comes from investigating causes and conditions. For example, when people feel cold, they feel the need for warmth. They then ask why is it cold and how it can be prevented. In our daily lives, when we feel cold, we wear more clothes or turn on the heater, right? In terms of society's development, we investigate the methods of heating and so on. All knowledge arises from observing effects and inferring their causes. However, causes and conditions are extremely subtle yet profound, and people can make mistakes when they investigate causes and conditions. So here, I'm going to introduce some example for you. Before the Buddha appeared in the world, there were already many non-Buddhist schools in India that also spoke about causes and conditions. But from the Buddha's perspective, the teachings about causes and conditions they taught were incorrect. The Buddha Dharma calls these erroneous causes or mistaking what is not a cause for a true cause. There's another group who conclude that all phenomena occur without cause and purely by chance because they are unable to find the causal relationships behind the arising and ceasing of things in this world. Believers of this doctrine of no cause are actually not many. More widespread and harder to correct is the erroneous cause theory that mistakes what is not a cause for a true cause. Essentially, these people understand that there is cause and effect, but their observation is mistaken, and so they take X to be the cause of Y when X is not the true cause. The Buddha Dharma strongly refutes the erroneous view of mistaking what is not a cause for a true cause. This view is of three types. First, the theory of past karma, which is also called fatalism, is proponents do speak of present results arising from past karma. However, they claim that everything in the world is entirely determined by karma from previous lives, thereby completely denying the value of present actions. That is, the causal conditions in this life. If everything in the world were truly determined by past lives' karma, this would effectively deny the value of present effort. The Buddha Dharma does teach that wholesome and unwholesome actions in the past lives influence the present and painful results of this life. But the Buddha Dharma places even greater emphasis on the causal power of present conditions. Okay? For example, a child may be born healthy, but later becomes ill and dies due to reckless eating and drinking. Can this be said to be predetermined by a past life? I don't think so. If so, then wealth unjustly seized by robbers would also have to be regarded as predetermined by past lives, right? It doesn't make sense. The correct teaching of causes and conditions in the Buddha Dharma firmly opposes this kind of view that negates all present effort and speaks only of fixed fate due to past lives' karma. The key difference between the Buddha Dharma and fatalism lies precisely in the emphasis on the present effort. Second is the theory of divine providence. This view attributes all of life's experiences to the will of a God. It holds that everything in the world is beyond human control, and that only God or Brahma has the power to create or arrange all things in the world. The Buddha Dharma firmly and equivocally rejects this theory. This is because in the world some things are good and some are bad. If everything came entirely from the will of a God, it would amount to denying the value of human existence. This is a very serious error. If one does not make personal effort, but merely prays to a deity or makes vows before a god, hoping to achieve one's goals, success will certainly be impossible. The Buddha Dharma denies the existence of the supreme controller who determines all destiny. The good and bad of human life do not come from an external power. Ultimately, we must understand that we create our world and life through our own actions as well as our interactions with others. Okay? The theory of fatalism and divine providence over time lay became mixed into Buddhism to some extent. We must clearly recognize and distinguish them. The theories of fatalism and divine providence fall under the category of wrong cause theory. Third is the theory of wrong present effort. There are some who also speak of causes and conditions and emphasize self-caused result. Yet, this is also mistaken. For example, some Indian ascetic groups believe that by deliberately undergoing more suffering in this life, one will obtain happiness in the future. In fact, such suffering is endured in vain because meaningless asceticism has no causal relationship whatsoever with the goal they seek. This is another case of mistaking what is not a cause for a true cause. From this, we can see that although some people appear on the surface to be discussing causes and conditions, in reality, they are all forms of wrong causation. For example, when a person becomes ill, the fatalist says this is predetermined by fate. The theist says this is God's punishment. One must pray to God. Others may admit the illness comes from bodily imbalance and that treatment is needed. Yet, they fail to identify the real cause, do not understand the properties of medicine, and do not employ proper medical treatment to cure the illness. Thinking that taking random substances or using charms and incantations can cure the illness. The Buddha taught that all phenomena are governed by causality. One must seek the right causal relationships and be careful to not speak about causes and conditions vaguely. The scope of causality in the Buddha Dharma is extremely broad. Everything operates within the law of cause and effect. However, what the Buddha Dharma especially emphasizes is the causal law of thought and action, guiding people in how they should act and how to act well. On a personal scale, this brings personal peace and happiness. On the large scale, it brings peace to the whole world and ultimately leads to complete liberation. What we have covered so far are some important points about the law of dependent co-arising. Now we move to the second section, which is the three levels of causes and conditions. I think this part is unfamiliar to you. The main practice method of Buddhism is to observe phenomena and investigate their causes and conditions. Whenever something appears in a certain way, there must be reasons why it is so. In other words, when we see something, we should reflect in our minds. Why does this thing appear like this and not like that? This is a way to reflect upon the law of dependent co-arising in our daily lives as we encounter things and situations. All the profound teachings and great practices in the Buddha Dharma were discovered through observing causes and conditions. The causes and conditions spoken of during the Buddha's time were extremely wide-ranging, yet expressed very succinctly. Later generations of Buddhists carefully studied and reflected on the Buddha's guidance. Through this, the deeper meaning of causes and conditions gradually became clear, sometimes in a more basic way, sometimes in a deeper way. These understandings can be divided into three progressive levels. 1. Effects arise from causes is very common, right? 2. Phenomena are established in accordance with principle. 3. Existence is grounded in emptiness. Okay? We will explain these three levels of causes and conditions. The first and the most obvious level we can observe is how effects or results arise due to causes. Things that exist in our reality do not come about by themselves. They must arise from causes. When something arises from a cause, it is called the effect. Only when certain conditions come together can a Dharma or phenomenon or thing arise. This is a fundamental view in Buddhism. It is also used to refute the theories that things arise without causes or from wrong causes. For example, when we see a fruit tree, we know that it must have depended on many factors, such as seed, fertilizer, water, and proper temperature for the tree to grow, flower, and produce fruit. The tree certainly did not arise out of nothing, nor did it come from something unrelated, like other plants, grass, metal, or stone. In short, things do not arise without a cause or from a wrong cause. This is the meaning of effects arise from causes and conditions. Okay? Causes and conditions are very complex. Among them, some are primary causes and the others are secondary conditions. Only when many causes and conditions come together can a particular phenomenon arise. Because the Buddha Dharma takes the law of dependent co-arising as its standpoint, the theory that things arise by chance without causes is unacceptable in Buddhism. Now we move to the next level, which is deeper than the first. The second level is called phenomena are established in accordance with principle. All phenomena in this manifested world naturally follow the law of cause and effect. Yet, within cause and effect, there lies a deeper and more universal principle. Think, why does a particular cause always produce a particular result? In simple terms, why does an apple tree bear apples and not pears? Why? There must be a definite principle that makes a certain cause yield a certain effect. And this relationship is universal and lasting. Everything in the world comes into being according to these definite principles. This belongs to the level of philosophical understanding. So everything in the world is established in accordance with this necessary principle. This belongs to the realm of philosophy. In Buddhism, this necessary principle is not called reason or rationality, but is instead called Dharma. Here, Dharma means law or principle. The Sutra number 296 in the Samyukta Agama says, whether a Buddha is present in the world or not, the Dharma never changes. It is an eternal principle, the foundational law from which all things arise. This natural, definite, and universal principle cannot be violated by the phenomena of cause and effect. A clear example is the statement, death has birth as its condition. If something is born, it will inevitably die. This is a natural, definite, and universal principle, right? So what is born must die. This does not mean that something dies immediately after it is born. Some sentient beings may live for 80,000 great eons, which is an extremely long time, while others are born in the morning and die in the evening. And some may have even shorter lives. Although lifespans differ in length, no one can escape the principle that what is born must die. Why must death occur? This is because there has been birth. Once something is born, it cannot avoid death. A being may live for days, years, hundreds of years, or even millions of years before dying. Although the details of birth and death may vary in the observable process of cause and effect, it is definite that what is born will inevitably die, and this applies to everyone at any place and in any time. This is a universal principle that applies to all people in any place and at any time. Okay. So if this definite principle did not exist, then one person might die while another might not. People in the past might die, but people in the future might not. In such a situation, we cannot say with certainty that things must happen in a particular way, and it would be impossible to establish reliable cause and effect relationship, which is we face the world we face. Okay, we can see the principle, not something like a random process, right? The reason that all conditioned phenomena happen in a definite way is that they follow such definite principles. Therefore, it can be said that all phenomena arise, cease, develop, and decay according to these definite principles. These definite principles are the basis on which phenomena exist. This is a deeper meaning of causes and conditions. Okay, I think it's time we should stop. So we have 5 minutes left. Any questions? I hope you have questions so that I can explain and make things clear for you. All these material are quite easy, is it? So any question?
I think that you mentioned ancient India
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah.
So in ancient India, they believed that I think that they still do in the caste system.
Yes.
So the rebirth occurs.
Yeah. Fate.
It's also based on
The,
what's in condition, but is the wrong.
yeah, exactly.
Is the wrong. What is it? The wrong cause, or is it the wrong?
A wrong cause, or well, both. You can say wrong cause or wrong, but actually it's wrong causes because the low caste always in the same caste, right? So they samsara in the same condition or the same situation.
They can't get out.
No, based on their doctrine, but the Buddha refused this doctrine, so everyone can change. The low caste after they practice or learn or they develop themselves well, they can become higher status. So it's not a, how can I say, their blooding lineage is you are noble because your behavior, not your family. Okay, that's the what the Buddha how can I say claim, not really claim, they what the Buddha taught. Okay, yes, please.
So, the law of providence and the law of
Divine providence.
divine providence.
Yes, yes.
In Buddhism.
Yeah.
So I know that, you know, especially in Mahayana Buddhism, there's like a lot of you know, praying to like Bodhisattva.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that what you mean by things like
fatalism?
Or like the law of divine providence seeping into Buddhism? Like, what do you, I guess, what do you mean by these two things seeping into Buddhism?
Okay.
Like, that we pray to the Bodhisattva, is that one way or?
Well, the Bodhisattva doctrine, you mean you vow to be a Bodhisattva now and in the future.
Example, like when people need help
Yes, yes, yes.
and stuff.
Oh, I see, I see. Well, it's not the same. It's quite different. For example, a Christian pray to the God and hope God to help him or actually solve out the problem by the God. But when we pray to the Bodhisattva, it's sort of we try to let us to have a connection to the Bodhisattva so that we can sort of gain the capacity or power to face our problem. Can you understand the difference? So the process looks the same, but the purpose or the meaning is quite different. So, for example, when we walk at night, we feel scared. What should we do? To call mom, right? Mom. And when we something like this, when we have a connection to someone, uh, we feel they can help us, we become more confident, right? And sort of can have the power of energy to overcome the difficulty we come across. Does that make sense?
In your
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
有，就是那个 the theory of divine providence
Uh-huh.
and opportunity， 后
Yeah.
来逐渐
Or okay, combining the Buddhism.
先
Okay, okay. For example, when we come across difficulty, many Buddhists usually says, "Oh, it's your past bad karma," so that you you come across this difficulty, or you can you understand? But it's part of the fact, you know, we can improve the situation through our effort to improve the things. Can you understand? Yeah, many people, for example, yes, our appearance influenced by the past karma, right? Everyone look different, but we can improve our appearance, right? So, for example, some people looks annoying, right? Because their behavior or something in their behavior or their body. But the situation can be changed once they practice the Buddha Dharma or Bodhisattva path. They can become, how can I say, popular. So it's not fixed, okay? Although everyone looks different. And when I was young, I was a naughty boy. And I don't have friends. But after I became a teenager, I changed a lot, and I tried to kind to my friends, try to be generous to my friends. So I become very popular in my classroom, in my classmate, among my classmates. But I still look the same. But people can feel something different, and they may gain happiness when they get along with me, different from when I was a naughty boy. Okay, does that make sense?
It's very
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yes, I have some actual experience. Some of my classmates, female classmates, um, they looked very beautiful, but they don't have friends because arrogant, right? And stingy, actually. Stingy?
Stingy.
No, yeah. She want everyone to offer things. She doesn't want share. So although they look beautiful, but you know, so we can change. We can make friends uh, through our efforts. Okay, although some sort of condition or some situation influenced by the past karma, but we can change the situation uh, in this life. Okay.
I may have a question.
Yes, please.
Next. That's the for your teaching, the Sutra 296, I have a not totally agree with the Dharma equal to law. So probably we're doing next time is big
Okay.
question.
Well, Dharma has many meanings. And one of the meaning is law or principle. And Dharma also refers to truth, ultimate truth. Or Dharma also refers to phenomena. It has many definitions because it's the Sanskrit term. So you should learn Sanskrit. I can teach you. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think it's time we should finish the class today. Thank you so much for your patience and your questions.